Hi, welcome to my channel. I want to talk about gratitude. I want to remind some of us that acknowledging how you feel about something, being honest about your struggles, being honest about the weight that you have to carry, even with things that you prayed for. One of the things that, one of my struggles that I've had or have sometimes with faith, it's feeling like I'm not supposed to feel a certain way about certain things. Sometimes there's this idea that we have, whether it was something that we were told or something that we grew up believing, or it's just something in our mind, whatever the case may be. But sometimes we can feel like we have to always say positive things, and we're supposed to always feel good all the time about life and the things that we have. It's like most of us, like sometimes we're living a life that we prayed for. We have the things that we prayed for, or we live in a life that we have things that other people are praying for they don't have. A lot of times, like, people might tell us to be grateful because we have things that others might not have, or we have things that we didn't have before. But even the things that we pray for can come with weight, and we can struggle with it. Let's say, for example, we pray about wanting a marriage, right? Marriage with a good person, with a God-fearing, whatever the good looks like to you. But just because you have this partner, this good partner, it doesn't mean that there's no struggles, no difficulties and lessons and things that you have to learn about marriage. Because one of the things that I have learned about any relationship is that, especially if it's something that is good for you, it's going to put you in a situation where you're going to have to see yourself. You have to see yourself and see parts of you that are unhealthy, that are not good, that you have not even realized yourself. It's like this situation is going to put you in a situation where it's going to trigger the unhealed aspects of you that you have to now learn to face and work through and heal. And you have to do this while still having to be conscious of the fact that there's someone else in your life that you also have to be mindful to about how you're letting these things that come from you. You have to be mindful to not let the things that you're dealing with affect the other person too much in a way that it affects the relationship negatively overall. It's like you are still learning about you. You're learning about another person. And you're learning about how to manage, how to heal while dealing with another person and dealing with this institution that is marriage, right? And some of the things, some truth that will come up is going to be hard. Whether it's something about you that you realize, something about the other person, or something about this idea of being married. It doesn't mean that, necessarily the situation is toxic. It just means that there's work to be done, and there's always going to be work, and it's hard. And it's okay for you to admit the parts of that you struggle with, that it's hard. And if you need to seek help for it, please do. If you need to cry about it and seek help from God or whatever you believe in, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not grateful for not being perfect. It doesn't mean that you're ungrateful when you have to admit that you are a work in progress. It doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It just makes you realize how much more work you still need to do, and make you realize your humanity. It teaches you a lot of things about patience, about grace and whatnot. Also, like, if you pray to be a parent, to be blessed with a child, that child is a blessing, right? And you can be grateful for that child, and you can still struggle with parenthood. because it's not like it comes with a manual. And depending on your background as well, um, it can be hard. If you, the way you were raised can affect how you go through the parenting journey. So that also can have its own struggles and learning experiences, things that it will teach you as well. And it can be a struggle, and at times you'll feel hard. And depending also on like financial factors as well, that can also affect things. So the things that you prayed for are still a blessing, but it doesn't mean that life doesn't happen and you stop learning just because now you've been blessed with something. These things, our blessings can bring new experiences, new learning experiences for us. So, and some of those lessons can be hard. Some of those experiences will feel hard, and you're not ungrateful just because you struggle with something. And I don't like the idea of comparing situations, because I feel like everybody's struggle is valid even if it's different from somebody else's. And when I have to like, when it comes to like, oh, look at what's going on with this person, look at what's going on with these people, I don't like doing that kind of comparison, because I don't like that those people have to go, they're going through that as well. Somebody else's I don't need to measure, compare struggles to feel better, to motivate me to be grateful. Everybody's struggle is valid in my opinion, even if they live different lifestyles. Everybody has their own journey. They have their own challenges that come with who they are, regardless of their financial status, their background. And I think everybody's problem, it's valid to acknowledge. If it's a problem to them, it's a problem. It doesn't have to be compared to anybody else's experience in order for it to be valid or not, you know? And materialistic things don't mean that people don't have issues. A lot of us struggle the same way, similarly when it comes to the mind. You can have all the things in the world, but if you're struggling mentally, those things mean nothing. You still need help. You never know what somebody's going through, and we're not entitled to know everything of what's going through, people are going through behind the scenes, before we can feel like their struggle deserves to be acknowledged. Oh, they deserve, before we determine that they deserve to feel the way they feel. I don't think it should be like that. I hope I'm making sense. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, because I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to always just accept things, even when we're struggling with it, because if we voice a struggle, a problem, a challenge, a concern, or we feel a certain way, we start to feel like we're not being grateful. People will force themselves to do things beyond what they need, just because they feel like if they don't, then it will seem like they're not grateful. Don't force yourself to eat beyond what your body can take, just because you feel like you're wasting food is a struggle. At that moment, your body can't take that much. Remember that experience for next time you're putting food, but don't beat yourself down for listening to your body. Don't feel like God is just out there just judging you about everything that you do. No. Don't hold yourself back. When you have been blessed, right? You have enough that you can go and spend on the things that you want and need. Of course, use wisdom with everything. Use discernment, right? But because you feel like, because you want to be conscious of other people, you don't want to make it seem like you're not humble enough, and like, because you are too focused on what other people might think, you hold yourself back. You try to dim your blessings because of how it might seem to other people, how you think it might seem to other people. No, if God blessed you, God blessed you for a reason. And I think like using the things that God has given us is one of the ways actually we show gratitude. Because it's like if God is gifting you with something, use it. God want to see you using it. Use what God has given you to better yourself, to whatever, to help yourself in whatever way that blessing is intended to benefit you. And I don't think you should feel bad for that. I don't think you should feel bad for that. Everybody, ultimately, for me personally, I feel like it's God's responsibility to take care of all of us. And God knows what God is going to do for other people. That's between them and God, or whatever they believe in, and the things that they have going on in their lives. You know, you don't have to feel responsible for other people just because you've been blessed with something. Understand and trust that they also are being divinely taken care of, and at divine timings, things will play out in their lives. They have things going on that you don't know. You know, you're not responsible for them, and you don't know everything about them and what's going on or what will come for them. If you want to bless others, that's fine. But do not compare yourself and constantly be looking at you versus other people. Don't do that to yourself. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help them. In fact, it might just put you in this mindset or perspective that will not serve you in any way. But yeah, I was just thinking about this, reflecting about gratitude, because I've had moments where I felt like I was being ungrateful for not feeling positive about certain things in life. And while the truth of the matter is that things are hard, even things that I do acknowledge they're blessings, but they still challenge me. They still challenge me, and sometimes I struggle with those challenges while I still acknowledge them to be blessings. And I'm human. I do have hopes and things that I would want to achieve and like to do. And sometimes just being able to acknowledge that the version of you and the way things are right now is not exactly how you wanted it. And acknowledging that sometimes I think some of us it makes it seem like we're being ungrateful for the things that we do have, for the things that are going right. But that's not, I don't think that's the case at all. It doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It's just like a reflecting point. You being self-aware about your journey, and you setting goals and making a plan. Just you realizing about your life, where you want, like it's kind of like doing a progress report. It's not something that means that you're not grateful for the things that are going on. I know that a lot of people be like, sometimes, you know, we're advised, let me say this, sometimes we're advised that when we think about things to be grateful for, it helps uplift us. There's always something to be grateful for. Yes, that works sometimes, and it's a good thing to try to think on the brighter side of things, and it can be helpful sometimes to help uplift us and remind us that, you know, of the duality and reality of this life that is balanced, that there's certain things that are going right. Everything isn't always, you know, negative and quote unquote bad and stuff like that. But realistically, there will be moments where it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that because of how we're processing things mentally. And that does not make us bad people or make us ungrateful. Just because we're not positive all the time, or just because we struggle sometimes. I hope this is just me basically reflecting and just here talking about my opinion, reflecting out loud basically on camera. Obviously, I'm still learning. I'm very much a student of life and a continuous work in progress. And if anyone watching this video, and if there's anything that you feel like, or you could help somebody about this topic of gratitude, or the things that I've said here. If there's anything that you could add, maybe you can share your experience if you would like. If you think it would benefit somebody else, or it would help you, or you just feel like doing that, then please leave it in the comment section below. Or if you just have something that you want to add that you think would be of benefit to all of us, because I also will be reading the comments. So yeah, as always, peace, love, and light.